years later, Arthur had a lot to learn about being a good parent. Love was one thing that was good for a growing child, but so was having a firm hoof to teach them right from wrong and help them understand which path to take in life is the best, but knew this wasn't going to be an easy task. It wasn't until Teleus went from larvae into regular changeling drone form and had learned to talk full sentences, Arthur decided it was time to send her to school. Yes, it turns out Teleus was a girl, which wasn't much of a surprise, since deep down Arthur had always wanted a family. Teleus knew nothing about the history between ponies and changelings, but Arthur taught her the most basic things Arthur knew about changelings. They feed off the element of love as a food source and can change form. I'll teach you to change form before you go to school. No pony in town knows you're a changeling, but they know I have a daughter, said Arthur the day before Teleus' first day at school. I can shapeshift too, but I'm no changeling. Eventually someone will find out what you really are, but we need to make sure you make friends before that happens. Arthur was currently in her unicorn mare form when teaching Teleus about shapeshifting. The whole feeding on love can come without effort, but to get in massive quantities you'll be forcing it through sucking the air around the ponies with your lungs and magic. Let's avoid that. I already have plans so you don't have to force ponies to feed you love, and it'll be a huge problem in getting others to like you if you do. Okay, Mom, so how does it work? Asked Teleus, who was excited about learning to use the one magical skill that is how her species gets its name. Well, you have to be able to picture what you change into. The form I've taken currently is similar to an old friend of mine, said Arthur, before her mane went from floppy to mohawk, and she suddenly became a he.
The most advanced transformation technique is being able to change one's gender. It's super hard to do, and for some impossible. Let's stick to changing your appearance.
Arthur turned back into her mare form before continuing, while going over to sit on the couch while Teleus stood on the floor in front of her. This way, you'll have plenty of room. Now you can use magic, so I suggest you turn into something that ponies would both find unusually friendly and be able to do so. My current form is a unicorn pony. Try turning into one, seeing the basic features I have. But remember, some of your skills will change with your form. Unicorns don't have wings, so you won't be able to fly as one. I'll go about teaching you how to fly at a different time, but right now let's get started. Just use my form as an idea of what you'll be turning into. Picture it in your mind and nothing else. You'll know your transformation starts when a green ring of fire engulfs your body, starting with your hoofs. Okay, said Teleus before closing her eyes. Teleus did as Arthur instructed, and sure enough, she took the form of a unicorn pony with similar mane and tail style as their adoptive parent. Wow, so this is how it works. Yeah, well, some ponies can use transformation magic, but not all of them. The ones that are closest to our levels of magic is alicorns, and one snobby
Draconicus,
said Arthur, who clapped her front hoofs together to show how she was happy for Teleus' achievement before Teleus returned to her true form and jumped in to hug Arthur. After Arthur sent Teleus to her first day at school, Arthur decided to look for work. Arthur's lab was a place of inventions and science, but despite how good it was, Arthur hadn't made much money off of it. Well, I'll figure out something. I did need to go by the local library and drop off my due books. As I recall, one of the equestrian heroes is the librarian there and has a dragon for an assistant. Arthur arrived at the library in stallion form and gave a light knock on the door, remembering his manners. To his surprise, Spike, the little dragon from the newspaper on the Crystal Empire adventure, was the one to answer it, as he asked while opening the door slightly.
Can I help you? My name? Yes. Oh, yes. My name is Arthur, and I believe I was supposed to be here today,
said Arthur in his casual, serious voice whenever he's around creatures that aren't Tellius.
Twilight. Some pony is here to see you,
called Spike while letting Arthur in, and he walked into the living room while pulling out his saddlebags containing his books.
That is a very interesting name, Arthur. Don't we usually have a mayor around town with the same name? Yeah, that's a long story,
said Arthur, who didn't really want to go into that right now.
But I wonder, if I stuck to one gender long enough, would it make a difference?
Arthur to look to see the purple alicorn, Princess Twilight Sparkle, fly down from the upper part of the library.
Greetings, Your Highness.
This again, there's no need to be so formal. I really prefer to be called Twilight, said Princess Twilight with an annoyed tone, but she somehow appeared to be still friendly. What brings you here today? And it's Arthur, right?
Yes, I got books that are due today,
said Arthur before handing over some books when Twilight noticed he had a book still on him.
Oh, it's one I'm writing.
You're a writer? That's amazing, said Princess Twilight, who was suddenly very curious about this. What kind of story are you writing?
It's about legends. It's not complete yet,
said Arthur before turning to leave, but then looked back at her.
Maybe I'll give you a copy of my book when it's finished.
Princess Twilight nodded and waved goodbye.
The Princess of Friendship is sure nice, but no, I don't belong in the same boat as them. Discord got lucky, but me, I'm just second best.